From Procrastination to Productivity. Turn Your Weakness into Strength. Written and published by Sonic Digest. There's a quiet battle happening within all of us, one we don't always see, but we feel it deep down. It's the struggle between the life we know we're capable of living and the life we're actually living, the dreams we whisper to ourselves in quiet moments, and the reality we face in the noise of daily tasks. It's the friction between who we want to be and who we sometimes settle for in the face of distractions, self-doubt, and hesitation. It's not about lack of desire or even effort. It's about breaking free from the invisible chains that keep us from fully stepping into our potential. You've felt it, haven't you? The way procrastination sneaks in, not with loud resistance, but with quiet comfort. The way small delays add up, turning into bigger gaps of missed opportunities, unfulfilled potential, and the slow unraveling of dreams once vivid. It's easy to brush it off, to tell ourselves that tomorrow will be the day we begin. But tomorrow often remains a distant promise, always just out of reach. Yet, deep inside, there's a spark that refuses to die. A quiet knowing that you are meant for more, capable of more, and destined to create something that truly matters. There's no magic formula to success, no secret shortcut or one-size-fits-all method. But there is a path that requires focus, intention, and, most importantly, a deep, unwavering commitment to the process of becoming. Becoming someone who doesn't wait for the perfect moment, but instead creates it. Someone who understands that the journey, even with all its ups and downs, is where the real transformation happens. The time for hesitation has passed. The only thing standing between where you are and where you could be is the courage to start. It's about taking that first step, and then the next, and the next, until you look back and realize that what once seemed impossible has now become second nature. This is the beginning of a journey that will shift your perspective, redefine your limits, and guide you toward a life of true accomplishment, not just in what you do, but in who you become. Because real change doesn't happen overnight. It happens in small, consistent moments, and it begins now. Chapter 1. The Seed of Stuckness. Procrastination is more than just putting things off. It's an intricate web of habits, mindsets, and feelings that build over time, wrapping themselves around our ability to act. When we allow tasks to remain undone, it's as though we've planted seeds, small, seemingly insignificant choices that eventually grow roots in our minds and take hold of our actions. These roots, however subtle, slowly stretch into every area of our lives, impacting our work, relationships, and dreams. It often starts as a whisper of hesitation, a thought that maybe we'll feel more prepared later, or that now isn't the ideal moment. This small, seemingly harmless choice can snowball, creating a pattern that grows deeper and stronger with each delay. Rather than a conscious decision to avoid tasks, procrastination often becomes a way of coping with complex emotions. At its core, it can be a response to fear, perfectionism, or even a search for comfort. The mind clings to safety, pushing away uncertainty and the challenges that progress demands. This cycle can make it feel as though we're watching our lives from behind a screen, stuck in the gap between what we want and the steps required to achieve it. Procrastination also affects our energy in unexpected ways. It's like carrying a quiet burden, an invisible weight on our shoulders that drains us without our even noticing. Every postponed task hovers in the background, creating mental clutter and consuming a part of our focus and energy. This weight compounds over time, leaving us exhausted, not from actual work, but from the endless avoidance and self-doubt that accumulate. As this pattern of delay settles in, it can start to shape how we see ourselves. Each time we avoid a task, a small part of us registers it as a personal failing, reinforcing the belief that we are somehow inadequate or incapable. This is how procrastination steals potential. It persuades us to doubt our ability, making us feel trapped in a cycle where inaction is more familiar than achievement. In this chapter, we'll explore these roots of stuckness, examining how procrastination grows within us and becomes a silent thief of time, energy, and possibility. This is where understanding begins, not in seeking quick fixes, but in seeing how these patterns subtly influence us. Chapter 2. The Hidden Comfort Zone. The comfort zone is a place that feels familiar, like home, a mental and emotional space where routines, habits, and well-worn paths protect us from the unknown. It lures us in with its warmth, providing a sense of control that eases the mind, whispering that here, in this predictable space, we are safe. Yet beneath the surface, this apparent comfort is an illusion, a boundary that both shelters and confines us. This hidden zone of ease and routine draws its power from a desire to avoid discomfort. The human mind is wired to seek pleasure and avoid pain, to pursue certainty and shy away from risk. Here, staying idle feels safe, because there's no fear of failure, rejection, or judgment. It's a place without challenges, where tasks aren't attempted and goals aren't pursued because they're saved for later. The comfort zone's subtle grip stems from this avoidance, convincing us to settle for what is known, even if it means remaining stagnant. Within this space, habits form like grooves in a well-worn path, keeping us anchored to behaviors that soothe us temporarily, but ultimately hinder our growth. We adopt routines that keep challenges at bay, letting each day unfold much like the last, secure in the familiarity that nothing disruptive will arise. But these habits aren't merely behaviors. They are psychological buffers, walls that protect us from anything that threatens our sense of control. Over time, these routines reinforce themselves, tightening the boundaries of what we feel we can accomplish, shrinking the sense of what's possible. The comfort zone also disguises itself as responsibility or reasonableness. We tell ourselves that staying here is wise, that change would be risky or impulsive. Yet these stories often conceal a reluctance to face the discomfort of growth. By staying within these self-imposed limits, we deny ourselves the full spectrum of our potential. The allure of the comfort zone is so potent because it suggests that the known world, however small, is preferable to the vast unknown, where failure and challenge might lurk. But the price of this safety is steep. Each moment spent in the comfort zone is a moment postponed from real growth and self-discovery. When we become accustomed to this hiding place, we lose touch with the courage and resilience that could carry us through obstacles and into new territories. Instead, we stay in the familiar, sacrificing the rich experiences that only emerge through risk and effort. In this chapter, the hidden dynamics of the comfort zone reveal themselves as subtle forces that hold us back. By understanding how this place keeps us from pursuing our potential, we can begin to see through the allure of safety and move toward the challenges that shape and expand us. Chapter 3. Whispers of Change. Deep within each of us there exists a quiet voice, one that emerges in moments of stillness, telling us that we're capable of something more, something greater than we currently allow ourselves to see. It doesn't shout or demand our attention. Instead, it speaks softly, urging us to consider a world beyond our present state. This inner voice is the whisper of potential, a gentle reminder that we have an untapped well of strength, creativity, and purpose waiting to be discovered. But too often, we bury it beneath layers of routine, doubt, and distraction. These whispers are subtle, yet persistent. They are flickers of longing and moments of clarity that surface at unexpected times. Sometimes they come to us when we're observing someone else's accomplishments, feeling a strange sense of familiarity, as if part of us recognizes we're capable of the same. Other times, They emerge in quiet moments, when the rush of life slows down and our minds drift to dreams we had almost forgotten. These whispers, though faint, are rooted in a deep truth that change is not only possible, but necessary, a natural part of our growth. Change begins with a single step, no matter how small or seemingly insignificant. This step might feel like a mere shift in thought or a minor adjustment in daily routine, yet it carries profound meaning. Each action, however tiny, adds momentum to the quiet force within us, gradually waking up a part of ourselves that craves growth. The first steps are rarely perfect. They're often awkward, met with resistance, and sometimes overshadowed by self-doubt. But each movement forward, no matter how hesitant, is a declaration of intent, a signal to ourselves that we are ready to explore beyond what we've known. As we start to listen to these whispers, we begin to notice that they hold more than just a vague desire for change. They carry the seeds of a vision, a growing sense of purpose that becomes clearer with each small action we take. Slowly, the voice within us gains strength, transforming from a whisper to a steady beat, guiding us toward a future that aligns with our true selves. This newfound energy creates a ripple effect in our lives. We start to see opportunities where we once saw obstacles, finding the courage to move through challenges that would have once held us back. This awakening to change is a deeply personal journey. It doesn't require us to abandon everything we know or make drastic transformations overnight. Instead, it calls for a quiet commitment to ourselves, a promise that, step by step, we will listen, act, and allow our potential to unfold. By honoring this inner voice, we embrace a path that is unique to us, shaped not by outside expectations, but by an inner calling that grows stronger each day. The whispers of change don't demand perfection. They simply ask for presence and action. In each small step, we move closer to a life that reflects our inner aspirations, unlocking parts of ourselves we never knew existed. With each day, the voice within becomes a trusted guide, gently leading us to discover the boundless possibilities that lie just beyond the familiar. Chapter 4. Breaking the Chains of Delay. The cycle of delay can feel like an invisible cage, a set of unbreakable chains that hold us back from progress. Yet these chains are rarely imposed from the outside. Rather, they're made up of familiar habits, entrenched thoughts, and comfortable routines that we cling to, often without realizing the weight they carry. These patterns of delay aren't merely about putting things off. They're crafted by a mix of self-doubt, fear of failure, and an attachment to what is known and predictable. Each link in these chains binds us to a way of thinking that keeps us in a holding pattern, waiting for an ideal moment that rarely arrives. Habits are powerful forces, shaping how we respond to each day. They're the seemingly small actions we repeat, whether it's checking a phone before getting to work, spending hours on trivial tasks, or avoiding the most meaningful projects because they seem daunting. Each time we engage in these habits, they solidify, forming grooves in our behavior that become harder to change. It's as if we're reinforcing a track that, once laid down, pulls us along without our conscious choice. These routines give us a sense of control, providing a temporary sense of ease, but ultimately keeping us in a state of inaction. When left unchecked, these habits become chains that bind us to mediocrity. Thoughts, too, can become chains. Self-doubt, perfectionism, and the belief that we're not ready yet are like barriers that stand between us and action. They create a mental script that keeps us on the sidelines, convincing us that the time isn't right or that we need more preparation before we can move forward. These thoughts whisper fears of failure, judgment, and inadequacy, pushing us to stay within the confines of what feels comfortable. Each time we give in to these thoughts, we strengthen the idea that we're incapable, adding another link to the chain of delay. These mental barriers, while intangible, can be as limiting as physical ones, stopping us from even attempting the tasks that could lead to growth. Situations around us can also contribute to this cycle of delay. Sometimes it's our environment, filled with distractions or people who reinforce procrastination, whether knowingly or unknowingly. Other times, it's a set of circumstances that makes us feel as though we lack control or freedom to act. External pressures or expectations can push us to put off our goals as we let the noise of the outside world dictate our actions instead of listening to our inner compass. But when we become aware of how these situations play into our habits of delay, we can start to loosen their hold on us, reclaiming our sense of purpose. In breaking these chains, it's essential to see them for what they are, not insurmountable barriers, but patterns we've adopted and can reshape. Recognizing the habits, thoughts, and environments that contribute to delay is the first step in dismantling them. Only then can we begin to free ourselves from the cycle of waiting, stepping into a life that values action and growth over comfort and routine. Chapter 5. The Pulse of Motivation. At the core of every meaningful endeavor lies a force that drives us forward, a pulse that beats within, urging us to act and create. This pulse of motivation is more than a fleeting inspiration. It's the embodiment of purpose, a quiet but powerful current that fuels our productivity. It's what compels us to rise each day with a sense of meaning, pushing us to tackle challenges, seek growth, and move closer to our aspirations. But true motivation doesn't merely come from setting goals or envisioning success. It flows from a deep connection to why we want to achieve, why it matters, and how it aligns with who we are. When we seek out this deeper purpose, we begin to tap into a form of motivation that is far more resilient than surface-level excitement. Superficial motivators such as external rewards or recognition can only carry us so far. They are prone to fading when challenges arise or when the journey becomes tedious. But when we connect our actions to a purpose that resonates with our core values, our motivation transforms into something unwavering, something that can withstand obstacles and setbacks. This purpose-driven motivation isn't affected by the external. It's rooted within, continually drawing us toward meaningful progress. There's an undeniable empowerment that comes from aligning productivity with purpose. Productivity ceases to be merely about checking items off a list or meeting deadlines. It becomes an expression of our inner drive. Each task, no matter how small, feels infused with intention, as if we're building something larger step by step with every action we take. In these moments, productivity is not a burden or obligation. It's an opportunity to bring our vision to life, to turn our ideas and aspirations into reality. This shift in perspective allows us to move forward not out of pressure or necessity, but out of a genuine desire to make a difference, however small, through our efforts. Discovering the deeper reasons behind our actions is not always a straightforward process. It requires introspection, a willingness to look beyond the immediate demands and goals, and to ask ourselves the tougher questions. What do I want to contribute to the world? What legacy, however modest, do I want to leave behind? How do my efforts reflect my personal growth and the impact I wish to have? These reflections bring us closer to understanding the core motivations that empower us. They allow us to recognize that productivity is not an end in itself, but a means to create value, meaning, and connection. This kind of motivation can act as an anchor in times of doubt and difficulty. When faced with setbacks, or when progress feels slow, we can return to our why, grounding ourselves in the reasons we began the journey in the first place. This anchor can help us push through resistance, find strength during moments of uncertainty, and reignite the spark that keeps us moving forward. By nurturing this inner drive, we unlock a source of energy that is sustainable, one that fuels both our ambition and our resilience. Connecting with the pulse of motivation ultimately transforms our approach to work and to life itself. We no longer view productivity as a mechanical act, but as a living expression of our values, our dreams, and our dedication. In honoring this deeper connection, we find that motivation becomes less about forcing ourselves to act and more about embracing the journey toward a purpose that fulfills and empowers us day by day, step by step. Chapter 6. Mapping the Flow of Momentum. Momentum doesn't arise by chance. It is the outcome of deliberate steps, each one reinforcing the one before it. This flow begins with the smallest of actions, and like a river, it gains strength as it moves, carving its path and shaping the landscape of our lives. Building this flow requires more than just willpower. It requires structure, intentionality, and an understanding of how each step contributes to the journey. Creating momentum starts by breaking down goals into manageable pieces. These smaller tasks are the building blocks of a larger routine, each one simple enough to tackle without hesitation, but meaningful enough to inch us forward. This approach not only makes larger goals feel less overwhelming, but also helps to establish a rhythm that we can follow, making it easier to stay on course. Each time we complete one of these small actions, we experience a sense of accomplishment, a brief but powerful surge that reinforces our drive to continue. Establishing a clear routine, one that aligns with our unique strengths and energy patterns, can serve as a powerful framework for this flow. Morning rituals, daily check-ins, or focused work periods act as anchors, keeping us grounded in our purpose. By making these routines non-negotiable, we remove the need for decision-making and eliminate moments of hesitation. This consistency creates an underlying current of progress that carries us forward, even on days when motivation wavers. With each repetition, we solidify our path, creating a groove in our lives that becomes easier to follow as time goes on. As momentum builds, it becomes essential to refine and adapt our approach. Productivity isn't about rigidity. It's about finding a flow that sustains us over the long haul. Regularly assessing our routines, identifying what works, and letting go of what doesn't allows us to move with intention and clarity. We become attuned to what truly propels us forward, shedding actions that may feel productive but add little real value to our journey. In this way, our structure becomes a living, evolving system that supports our growth without confining it. Alongside structure, tools play a crucial role in sustaining momentum. The right tools, whether a planner, a digital app, or a simple notebook, serve as extensions of our intentions. They help us track progress, prioritize tasks, and stay aligned with our overarching goals. These tools become companions on our journey, not just reminders of what needs to be done, but symbols of our commitment to ourselves. They help transform our aspirations into tangible, actionable steps, turning dreams into concrete actions. Perhaps the most important element in sustaining this flow of momentum is self-trust. When we believe in our ability to take one step at a time, to meet the challenges of each day without doubting our capacity, momentum becomes almost self-sustaining. Each accomplishment, no matter how small, reinforces this trust, showing us that we are capable of creating the life we envision. This trust allows us to move through setbacks with resilience, understanding that each stumble is merely a part of the journey. In building and mapping the flow of momentum, we shape not only a productive life, but one filled with purpose and fulfillment. We no longer drift aimlessly, nor do we allow ourselves to be weighed down by the enormity of our goals. Instead, we chart a course that is both steady and flexible, one that honors our aspirations while adapting to the ebbs and flows of life. Each step, each routine, and each tool we embrace becomes part of a greater whole, a life guided by clarity, persistence, and the quiet, unstoppable force of momentum. Chapter 7. The Beauty of Small Victories. In a world that often celebrates grand achievements and sweeping success stories, it's easy to overlook the quiet power of small victories. These minor achievements are the unsung heroes of progress, the humble beginnings of greatness. Each one, however small, carries with it a momentum that builds our path forward, slowly transforming effort into confidence and intention into reality. Small victories teach us to savor the journey, to recognize that progress is made not only in leaps and bounds, but in steps, sometimes even in stumbles. By focusing on small, achievable goals, we shift our perspective from a daunting destination to manageable milestones. These victories act as stepping stones, grounding us in the present and keeping our sights set on what's achievable now, instead of fixating on an ideal that might feel out of reach. With each win, no matter how modest, we build a foundation of resilience and strength. The value of these small victories lies not just in the progress they represent, but in the change they bring within us. They show us that we are capable, even on days when motivation runs low and doubt creeps in. Each small victory reinforces the belief that we can improve, even if only a little, and that those incremental steps are what create lasting transformation. This practice of celebrating small wins teaches us patience and persistence, urging us to stay committed to our journey without the need for immediate, overwhelming success. In celebrating these victories, we also cultivate gratitude. We start to appreciate the process of growth, seeing that every task, every completed action, and every bit of effort contributes to something greater. Gratitude keeps us grounded, reminding us that progress is a gift, not just a goal. By learning to value these seemingly insignificant milestones, we reshape our perception of success, coming to realize that it's not the final achievement that defines us, but the dedication and persistence displayed along the way. Each small win also serves as a point of reflection, an opportunity to look back and see how far we've come. These moments of introspection deepen our understanding of ourselves, showing us not only our strengths, but also the areas that we can continue to improve. They offer a chance to recalibrate, to refine our approach, and to take pride in the journey as it unfolds. This kind of self-awareness, cultivated through small victories, strengthens our resolve, giving us the courage to continue even when the path is unclear. Moreover, these minor achievements create a cycle of motivation. The satisfaction we feel from a small victory spurs us to tackle the next challenge, fueling a sense of purpose and drive. Each completed task feeds into the next, forming a chain of accomplishments that draws us closer to our larger goals. This cycle is self-sustaining. The more we experience these victories, the more momentum we gain, until the act of moving forward becomes second nature. Small victories remind us that success is built, not stumbled upon. They teach us that perfection is not the goal, progress is. We learn to detach from the pressure of flawless execution and instead to value the courage it takes to simply begin, to take one more step. In doing so, we gather strength from each win, no matter how minor, letting it shape us into individuals who embrace the journey with open hearts and unwavering dedication. The beauty of small victories lies in their power to transform us, little by little, into the person we strive to become. They show us that we don't need to wait for a grand breakthrough to feel accomplished. Fulfillment can be found in every small step forward. Through them, we learn that greatness is woven from the fabric of consistency, and that each thread, each tiny triumph, is essential in the tapestry of our lives. Chapter 8. Harnessing Energy's Rhythm. Each day we carry within us a rhythm, a personal cadence that ebbs and flows throughout the hours. It is a subtle dance between bursts of energy and moments of stillness, a cycle that we often overlook. The key to unlocking our potential lies in recognizing and embracing this rhythm, working in harmony with the natural fluctuations of our energy levels, rather than fighting against them. By aligning our work with these innate cycles, we can experience more ease, creativity, and productivity in our daily lives. Many of us try to force productivity into a one-size-fits-all approach, measuring success by external benchmarks, often ignoring the body's natural inclinations. We push through fatigue, ignore the midday dip, or force ourselves to work when our minds are foggy. In doing so, we exhaust ourselves, battling against the natural currents of energy. Yet our energy is not a constant, it is dynamic, flowing in waves. The key is to recognize when those waves are cresting and when they are receding. The first step in harnessing this rhythm is paying close attention to how we feel at different times of the day. When do you feel most alert? When do your thoughts flow effortlessly and creativity seems to rise from within? For many, mornings offer a sense of freshness and clarity, where focus is sharp and the mind feels unburdened. For others, the afternoon may be a time for reflection and problem-solving. By identifying these windows of peak energy, we can align our most challenging tasks, those that require concentration, creativity, or problem-solving, during these windows of clarity. Similarly, we must also honor our low-energy periods, which might feel like moments of weakness, but are instead opportunities for rejuvenation and recalibration. These moments are not setbacks, but invitations to pause, rest, and engage in lighter activities. It is in these quiet periods that the mind often makes subtle connections or allows ideas to settle, creating space for deeper insights. Embracing the ebb and flow of energy enables us to move away from the myth of constant productivity and toward a more sustainable, fluid approach to work. The concept of rhythms is not just a matter of timing, but also of understanding the nature of the work itself. Tasks that require focus and intensity are better suited to high-energy moments, while routine or administrative tasks can be completed during quieter periods. Learning to categorize our work based on the energy it demands ensures that we are never working against our natural state. It also helps in cultivating a sense of mastery over our day, as we realize that productivity is not just about how many hours we put in, but about how effectively we use the hours available to us. In addition to aligning tasks with energy cycles, we can further optimize our productivity by introducing rituals that nurture our energy throughout the day. Simple practices such as short walks, breathing exercises, or stretching can recharge the body, restoring focus and clarity during lulls. Hydration, nutrition, and mindful rest are also vital components in maintaining energy throughout the day. When we make self-care a priority, we not only ensure the sustainability of our efforts, but also create a feedback loop of positive energy that enhances both our personal well-being and professional output. Another crucial aspect of harnessing energy's rhythm is cultivating an awareness of mental and emotional energy. Just as our physical energy fluctuates, so too does our mental focus. Stress, distractions, or emotional turbulence can deplete mental energy, leaving us feeling drained and unfocused. To counteract this, we can create mental environments that foster clarity and peace through practices like mindfulness, meditation, or simply setting boundaries that protect our focus. By managing our emotional and mental energy, we prevent burnout and maintain a clear, calm presence even during demanding tasks. Ultimately, embracing energy's rhythm is a practice of deep respect for our own nature. It is a recognition that we are not machines built for nonstop output, but living beings that require balance and care. By syncing our actions with our internal rhythms, we unlock a more natural flow of productivity, one that honors both our strengths and our need for rest. In doing so, we can move beyond the limitations of constant struggle and enter a space where work feels less like a grind and more like an expression of our highest potential. Chapter 9. Guardians of the Path. The journey toward greater productivity and fulfillment is not solely shaped by the actions we take, but also by the spaces and boundaries we set around us. Just as a river needs its banks to flow, we too need structures and limits to guide our energy and sustain our progress. The guardians of our path are not external forces, but the deliberate choices we make to protect our focus, energy, and well-being. These guardians come in the form of boundaries and practices that preserve our mental, emotional, and physical resources, ensuring that we can continue moving forward without draining ourselves in the process. Boundaries are often seen as barriers, but in the context of productivity and well-being, they are the very structures that allow us to thrive. Without boundaries, we risk overcommitting, scattering our energy in too many directions, and depleting ourselves in the process. Setting boundaries is not about saying no to others. It's about saying yes to ourselves. It is about honoring our needs, our limits, and the time required to recharge. When we fail to establish boundaries, we become susceptible to distractions and demands that pull us away from our core goals, leaving us feeling fragmented and unproductive. At its core, setting boundaries is an act of self-respect. It requires an understanding that our time, focus, and energy are finite resources. And if we are to give our best to what matters, we must protect those resources. Boundaries can take many forms. They might involve saying no to unnecessary commitments, creating specific work hours, or setting clear distinctions between work time and personal time. These distinctions enable us to focus fully when it's time to work and to rest fully when it's time to recharge. The clarity we gain from having these boundaries in place fosters a sense of purpose, making it easier to prioritize what truly matters. Equally important to establishing boundaries is creating an environment that nurtures sustained action. Our physical environment, the spaces in which we work and live, can have a profound impact on our ability to stay focused, motivated, and productive. A cluttered, chaotic space often mirrors a cluttered, chaotic mind. On the other hand, an organized, calm environment creates the mental clarity needed to concentrate and think critically. The simplicity of your surroundings can directly influence the quality of your work, making it essential to design a space that supports your goals. This includes organizing your physical workspace in a way that minimizes distractions. Keeping only what's necessary within your immediate reach helps prevent your attention from wandering. Lighting, furniture, and even the colors in a room can affect the atmosphere, and it's worth investing in elements that make your environment comfortable and conducive to focused work. But the space extends beyond just the physical. Your digital environment, such as managing notifications, organizing your devices, and keeping your online spaces free from distractions, also plays a significant role in safeguarding your attention. In addition to the physical and digital space, the emotional environment you create is just as critical. It is the atmosphere of your thoughts, feelings, and mental patterns. To guard this space, it's essential to practice mindfulness and awareness. Mindfulness practices help to keep the mind present and clear, creating a mental space that allows for focused work and creative thought. Self-compassion also plays a vital role in this process. It is easy to be critical of ourselves when progress is slow, but without self-compassion, we risk burnout and self-doubt. Learning to be gentle with ourselves, especially during moments of challenge or stagnation, preserves our emotional energy, ensuring that we can keep moving forward even when the path feels uncertain. Another key aspect of protecting our energy is recognizing the influence of external voices and distractions. We live in a world constantly pulling for our attention, whether it's through social media, emails, or the opinions of others. While it is important to be open to feedback and connection, it is equally important to know when to tune out the noise. Cultivating the discipline to limit distractions and stay focused on our own priorities is a powerful tool in protecting our energy. This might involve creating set times for checking emails or setting aside specific times to connect with others, ensuring that these interactions are productive and not a drain on our time and focus. One of the most powerful guardians of our path is the practice of regular self-care. Self-care is not just about occasional indulgence or relaxation. It is about building a lifestyle that nurtures our overall well-being on a consistent basis. This can include physical activities such as exercise that release tension and refresh our bodies, as well as mental and emotional practices like journaling, meditation, or engaging in hobbies that bring us joy. Self-care is not a luxury. It is a necessity for maintaining the energy required for sustained action. When we neglect self-care, we risk burnout and exhaustion, making it harder to stay committed to our goals. The guardians of the path are also deeply tied to the people we surround ourselves with. While it's important to create physical and emotional boundaries, we must also recognize the power of our relationships. Positive, supportive individuals who encourage our growth can become vital allies in our journey, offering motivation, guidance, and encouragement when needed. On the other hand, toxic or unsupportive relationships can deplete our energy and derail our progress. Cultivating relationships with those who share our values and aspirations helps protect us from negative influences and keeps us motivated to continue on the path to success. Ultimately, the guardians of the path are not just external forces. They are internal practices and attitudes that we cultivate within ourselves. They are the conscious decisions to honor our energy, protect our time, and create environments that support our goals. By building these guardians into our daily lives, we can safeguard our productivity and our well-being, ensuring that we are always equipped to move forward with clarity, focus, and purpose. Chapter 10. The Art of Steady Progress. The path to meaningful achievement is not always marked by bursts of excitement or overwhelming inspiration. It is often the quiet, uncelebrated steps taken day after day that shape true success. The art of steady progress lies not in grand gestures, but in the determination to keep moving forward even when external forces wane and enthusiasm falters. While motivation can inspire us to begin a journey, it is consistency that carries us to the end. In this chapter, we explore how to build and maintain habits that sustain our progress, even on the days when the initial excitement fades. In the early stages of any pursuit, enthusiasm drives us to put in our best efforts. However, as time passes, the novelty wears off, and challenges begin to emerge. It is during these moments that the true test of our resolve occurs. Many people give up when they no longer feel the rush of motivation. But the most successful individuals understand that persistence is more important than passion. It's not about forcing yourself to feel motivated every day, but about committing to the process even when your energy wanes. Building steady progress requires a fundamental shift in how we view progress itself. Too often, we look for drastic changes or immediate results. We set lofty goals and expect instant transformations. But true growth is incremental, happening gradually over time. Like water carving a path through rock, consistency, no matter how small, shapes our outcomes. The key is to trust that every small effort contributes to something much larger than we can see in the moment. Each time you show up, even when it feels like you're not making significant strides, you are laying the foundation for something meaningful. One of the most effective ways to maintain steady progress is by cultivating habits that become second nature. Habits, by their very nature, are actions that we perform without thinking, which is why they are such powerful tools for long-term success. When we automate the tasks that lead to our goals, we eliminate the need for constant decision-making or motivation. For example, if you want to become physically fit, creating a daily workout habit removes the need to decide whether or not to exercise each day. The decision has already been made. By embedding these habits into our routine, we make progress a matter of course, not a matter of willpower. However, it's important to be strategic about the habits we create. Instead of overwhelming ourselves with too many changes at once, it's wise to start small and build from there. Trying to do too much too quickly can lead to burnout, as the excitement of the new challenge fades and the pressure increases. Start with one manageable habit, and once it becomes consistent, layer in the next. This way, we create a rhythm that feels natural and sustainable. Over time, these small, manageable steps accumulate into significant progress. At the same time, it's essential to measure progress in ways that align with our true intentions. Success is not always linear, and progress may not always appear in the way we expect. The journey to a goal is often filled with setbacks, detours, and moments of doubt. But each step forward, no matter how imperfect, contributes to the larger picture. Instead of focusing solely on distant goals, take time to appreciate the small victories along the way. These victories might not always be big, but they are the markers that show you are on the right path. In addition to building consistent habits, it's crucial to protect your energy and mental well-being during the process. Steady progress doesn't mean pushing yourself to exhaustion. On the contrary, the most effective progress happens when we find a sustainable rhythm, one that allows us to recharge and refresh. Incorporating periods of rest and reflection into our routine ensures that we don't burn out, keeping our focus sharp and our momentum alive. Just as athletes schedule rest days to allow their bodies to recover, we too must allow time for recovery, emotionally, mentally, and physically, if we are to continue performing at our best. The journey towards steady progress also involves cultivating patience. In a world that demands instant gratification, the idea of delayed rewards can feel foreign. Yet true growth is often invisible at first. The early stages of any meaningful project or pursuit are often filled with uncertainty and self-doubt. Progress is slow, and the results may not be immediately apparent. But if we trust the process and stay committed, we begin to see the compound effect of our efforts. The seemingly small actions that we take every day add up, and over time, they create a profound impact. The ability to stay the course is also linked to our mindset. Developing a mindset that embraces setbacks and challenges as part of the process helps us maintain consistency. When we see obstacles as temporary and solvable, rather than as roadblocks that derail our efforts, we are more likely to persevere. Understanding that mistakes and setbacks are natural aspects of any journey empowers us to keep going, even when the road is rough. It's the ability to accept failure as feedback that allows us to improve, adjust, and keep moving forward. Equally important is the awareness that no journey is without distractions. Life is full of interruptions, unexpected events, and competing priorities. However, it's in these moments that our commitment to steady progress is tested the most. When life throws us off course, it's crucial to refocus and realign with our intentions. Instead of allowing distractions to derail us, we can use them as opportunities to practice resilience and refocus our efforts. Recognize that some days will be harder than others, but that doesn't mean the path has disappeared. It simply means you need to find a new rhythm. By shifting our mindset from chasing perfection to embracing steady, consistent effort, we set ourselves up for success. Progress is not about the pace at which we move, but the fact that we keep moving. The smallest step forward, taken consistently, leads to the most powerful transformations. Whether the path is smooth or filled with challenges, the ability to continue moving forward, no matter the speed, is what sustains long-term success. And in the end, it is the slow and steady journey that brings the most lasting and fulfilling results. Chapter 11. The Shift in Identity. Transformation is not merely about changing actions or adopting new habits. It is about redefining the very essence of who you are. When you embark on the journey from procrastination to productivity, the most profound shift occurs within your identity. Your self-perception, the way you define yourself, must evolve to accommodate the person you are becoming. To truly break free from the cycle of inaction, you must internalize your transformation, not just through what you do, but through who you believe yourself to be. The moment you embrace your new identity as a productive individual, the external changes will begin to reflect this internal shift. It's easy to think of productivity as something external, something you do to achieve certain tasks or goals. But at its core, productivity is about who you are. It is a natural expression of your values, your mindset, and the belief that you are someone capable of creating meaningful progress. When you see yourself as a person who follows through, who finishes what they start, and who takes initiative, your actions will begin to align with that belief. This shift is not a one-time event, but a gradual reprogramming of how you see yourself and what you expect from yourself. The key to this transformation lies in consistently reinforcing your new identity. Every time you take action, however small, you are telling yourself that you are a person of discipline, focus, and perseverance. You are not waiting for motivation to strike or for the perfect moment to act. You are acting because you know that you are the kind of person who does. By internalizing this mindset, you begin to build a new self-concept, one that is inextricably tied to your ability to act with intention and purpose. It's essential to acknowledge that this shift will require patience. As you work to break free from the old identity of a procrastinator, there may be moments of doubt. The old self, the person who hesitated, put things off, or lacked confidence, may try to resurface. But with each decision you make in favor of productivity, you dismantle the old identity bit by bit. This is not a battle against your past actions. It is a battle for the future person you choose to become. Every step you take toward productivity, every task you complete, reinforces this new self-image. The challenge is not just to change what you do, but to embrace who you are becoming. To truly embrace your new identity, you must be willing to step into the discomfort of change. It is normal to feel uncertain as you evolve into a more productive version of yourself, but it is through this discomfort that growth occurs. The more you challenge your old patterns of thinking, the more you push past the inertia that once held you back, the more solidified your new identity will become. The external world is often a mirror of our internal beliefs. If you see yourself as someone who is always behind, constantly struggling to catch up, that will be reflected in your behavior and results. But when you begin to identify as someone who takes control, who follows through on commitments, who stays focused and determined, you start to act in ways that align with that identity. The shift is subtle but profound, and it is this shift that has the power to change not only what you do, but who you are at the core. In practical terms, this shift in identity can be fostered by adopting new language and self-talk. The words we use to describe ourselves shape our reality. When you refer to yourself as a procrastinator or someone who struggles with consistency, you unknowingly reinforce those behaviors. Conversely, when you speak to yourself as someone who is disciplined, focused, and driven, you condition your mind to behave accordingly. Affirmations, intentions, and visualizations are powerful tools in this process, helping to create a vivid mental image of the person you are becoming. Another powerful technique in this transformation is to surround yourself with influences that reinforce your new identity. The people you spend time with, the environments you inhabit, and the information you consume all contribute to shaping your self-image. If you want to be productive, seek out others who embody that trait. Learn from those who have mastered focus and consistency. Immerse yourself in environments that support and encourage the identity you are cultivating. The more you align yourself with the values and behaviors of those who exemplify the productive mindset, the more you will embody those same qualities. It is also crucial to set goals that reflect your new identity. Instead of focusing solely on tasks, which can feel like a checklist, Frame your goals in a way that emphasizes your growth as an individual. For example, instead of setting a goal to simply complete a project, set a goal to develop your skills, sharpen your focus, or improve your time management. These types of goals are less about the end result and more about the kind of person you are becoming in the process. When your goals are aligned with your new identity, every step you take feels less like a struggle and more like a natural expression of who you are. At times, you may encounter resistance from others or from your own fears. These moments are opportunities to reaffirm your commitment to your new identity. Resistance is not an indication that you are on the wrong path. It is simply a reminder that the old habits are trying to pull you back into your comfort zone. By acknowledging this resistance and choosing to move forward anyway, you reinforce the new version of yourself. With each step you take, the gap between your past identity and your present self narrows, until eventually you can no longer identify with the person you once were. Ultimately, the shift in identity is a process of self-acceptance and self-empowerment. You are not just changing what you do, but how you see yourself. As you internalize your transformation and embrace the person you are becoming, the barriers that once held you back begin to dissolve. The procrastinator fades away, and the productive force emerges, grounded in a powerful, unshakable belief that you are someone who takes action and makes things happen. Chapter 12. Reflections from the New Horizon. The path you've traveled has led you to a place where the landscape looks different. It's not just about where you're going, but who you've become along the way. As you pause to reflect on the journey, take a moment to recognize how far you've come. The person who first started this journey, hesitant and unsure, is no longer the same individual who stands before the horizon now. There is a deeper strength within you, an inner resilience that has grown with every challenge you've faced and every step you've taken forward. This moment of reflection is not about looking back with regret or self-criticism. It is an opportunity to acknowledge the courage it took to move beyond old patterns, the dedication required to reshape your identity, and the commitment to stay on course despite the obstacles. You have evolved, and that growth deserves recognition. It's not just the accomplishments that matter, but the quiet victories, those moments when you chose to act, to push through discomfort, and to show up for yourself even when the path was unclear. In this new space, you see possibilities that were once hidden behind the fog of doubt and procrastination. Your capacity for focus and discipline has expanded. The tools you've gathered, your routines, your mindset, your ability to harness your energy, are now part of the foundation you stand on. Every accomplishment, no matter how small, has contributed to this moment of clarity. You are no longer bound by the constraints of your previous self. The path you once walked out of obligation is now a journey propelled by intention. This new horizon isn't an end point, it's a launching point. The changes you've made, the practices you've incorporated into your daily life, have set the stage for even greater accomplishments. But it's not just about what lies ahead. It's about acknowledging your capacity to continue forward, unburdened by the past. As you look back, you see a series of choices to act, to grow, and to move beyond limitations. And in those choices, you see the power that resides within you to keep going, to keep evolving, and to keep pursuing your goals with renewed energy. When you reflect on the changes, you also recognize the resilience that now defines you. Challenges that once felt insurmountable no longer hold the same weight. You've learned how to navigate uncertainty, how to manage setbacks, and how to rise each time you fall. Your journey has shaped you into someone who understands that progress is not linear and that the strength to persevere comes from within. There's no need for perfection, only a commitment to continue moving forward, to keep adapting, and to keep learning. The foundation you've built is not fragile. It is solidified by every action, every decision that moved you closer to the person you've become. With every reflection, you are reminded of the strength you hold inside. Strength that is not just about doing more, but about being more. It's in the confidence that now flows through your choices, the clarity that sharpens your focus, and the peace that comes from knowing you have the ability to shape your own future. The horizon is now yours to define, and the strength you've cultivated is the wind beneath your wings. The lessons you've learned along the way are not just tools for productivity, but markers of personal transformation. You've discovered how to tap into your potential, how to overcome the inertia of procrastination, and how to find momentum even in the face of adversity. Your focus is no longer an external goal to chase, but an internal compass that guides you through every challenge, every moment of doubt, and every opportunity for growth. Now, as you stand on this new horizon, there is a profound sense of peace that comes from knowing that your journey is not just about accomplishing tasks, but about the continuous unfolding of your greatest potential. Each step you take forward is an affirmation of your strength, your resilience, and your ability to keep moving. You've unlocked a new level of productivity, but more importantly, you've unlocked a deeper connection to the person you are becoming. As you look toward the future, know that you carry with you the lessons of the past, the strength of the present, and the vision of what lies ahead. The horizon is not a distant place, but a state of mind, a place where you live fully, productively, and with purpose. And as you continue forward, know that the power to keep going resides not in what you do, but in who you are. Conclusion: you've walked the path step by step, pushing past the doubts, the distractions, and the barriers that once seemed insurmountable. With each chapter, you've uncovered pieces of yourself, the parts that were hiding beneath layers of procrastination, fear, and hesitation. You've seen the potential that has always been there, waiting for the right moment to shine through. That moment, as it turns out, is now. The journey isn't one of sudden, dramatic shifts. It's the quiet accumulation of small choices, each one a testament to your growth, your commitment, and your ability to create the life you've always known you were capable of living. The power to continue lies in the habits you've begun to form, the mindset you've nurtured, and the unshakable belief that the best of you is yet to come. There is no final destination, no perfect end to this journey. Instead, there are endless opportunities to keep evolving, to keep moving forward. The transformation isn't something that happens once and for all. It is a continual unfolding, and with each new challenge, you'll meet it with a deeper understanding of your ability to rise above it, to embrace discomfort, to push past limitations, and to keep moving, one purposeful step at a time. As you step back into the world outside these pages, remember this: you are not the person you were when you began. You are stronger, more focused, more resilient, and now it's time to live that truth. Keep showing up, keep taking action, keep trusting the process. Your journey is just beginning. The road ahead is full of possibility, and you are ready to walk it.